What's up, everybody? It's your boy, the man that's a musical genius, just that here. So we're gonna be pretty much talking about why Sega is delisting 60 classic video games off of their store. This is pretty much just gonna start next month, and these are the games that they're gonna be removing. But as long as you still have it in your library, you can still play them. I was kind of surprised because they actually have Crazy Taxi in there too, which I thought that was pretty good one. And that leaves me with a lot of questions, like why in the holy fuck nuggets are they getting rid of all these classic games? Oh, son of a bitch, I just saw Jet Set Radio, holy shit. But anyway, this leaves a pretty huge problem, mostly because that means there's only two ways to play these classic games. The first option, you pretty much sell your whole kidney so you can actually get the original hardware to play this damn game. And that's not including hunting down the actual physical disc, which you might have to sell another kidney just to be able to play the game. And if you want me to be really honest about it, a while back ago I bought a game called Stubbs the Zombie, which was on the original Xbox, and it costed me about $120, mainly because of the price gouging. And if you think I'm joking, like, I still have the sticker on it that says 120 bucks on it. I bought this before the Xbox and the PlayStation 4 versions came out. And yeah, I felt really fucking stupid. But the sad truth and the unfortunate thing about it is games like that don't get that kind of treatment, where it's re-released. Do you think they're gonna make a re-release of Sneak King, which is a game all about where you play as the Burger King mascot giving people juicy burgers? Is there going to be a re-release of Eat Lead? And the reality of it is probably no. But there are good games that get left behind. And I know that I'm just listing off games that probably 99% of you just don't give a shit about. But I bet that there's probably a game that you like that nobody else doesn't like. It's really just a matter of taste. Which means there's only one way to play these games if you do not have the physical hardware or the money to do it, which is piracy. Yeah, just emulate that son of a bitch. Which is really the only way you could probably play any of these games for free. And it's not because of, oh, I just want my retro games to be free. It's mainly because there's not really a way to do it legally without, well, burning a hole in my pocket. And let me state it for the record, I don't really like having to pirate my games just to play them. But you pretty much have to if you just don't have the money for the hardware or the physical copy. I always believe that piracy can be easily fixed with really good service. And the reason I think that is any game that was hard to get, I've pretty much pirated. But when it comes to Valve games like Left 4 Dead, Counter-Strike, Half-Life, you know, it's kind of shocking because I've never pirated those games. Mostly because they're, well, decently priced and they're rarely available. And that's really the problem with video game preservation nowadays. Another thing that I've kind of felt before, it feels like video game preservation is like almost considered taboo. And like another thing too, there's like been like so many debates on like if video games should be considered as art. And I think that's just completely ridiculous and fucking stupid. Because obviously video games are art. And you're probably wondering why I think that way. Is mainly because if you define art as it is, art is a creative expression that uses skill and imagination to produce a visual object or experience. I mean, in my honest opinion, I think video games would fall under producing a visual object or experience. And definitely a butt ton of imagination. I don't think Resident Evil would be Resident Evil if, you know, they didn't use imagination. If they didn't use imagination, there'd be zombies walking around looking like stick figures. But anyway, this really only applies to video games. It doesn't apply to movies, it doesn't apply to music, it doesn't apply to any other form of media except video games for some reason. Because just think about it for one moment. Imagine if they did this with movies. Imagine that you couldn't find a physical copy of the original Halloween. They're not streaming it nowhere, there's no physical copy you can get, there's no Blu-ray version, it's gone. What if they did this with music? Good luck trying to find the Misfits on an old-ass cassette tape. But hey, hold on. Let's go a little bit more deeper than music and movies. Imagine if they did this with books. What if the only way to read Harry Potter was to buy a book that costs $1 million? But we can even go even more drastic. What if they did this with art? Imagine that you'll never see what the Mona Lisa looks like because the owner doesn't want anybody to see the original copy. People would go absolutely apeshit. And I find it weird that there's all these other things that's preserving art, that is preserving books, that is preserving music, that is preserving movies, but nothing that preserves video games. The only way to preserve video games is through piracy. And yeah, I know that you can't preserve every game, but it seems like the whole history of video games is not even preserved. And I honestly find that absolutely baffling, because whether you like it or not, video games is a part of our culture, and I think video games is another form of art. You can't tell me the scene in Call of Duty Zombies when Richtofen is hooked up to the fucking blood machine and he's getting his blood sucked out is not fucking sad. You cannot tell me when Arthur Morgan in Red Dead Redemption 2 gets tuberculosis and dies at the very end you didn't feel nothing. Or you play Battlefield 1 and watch the ending cutscene and not get fucking teary-eyed. And I could pretty much go on a whole tangent on any other game that has a really good ending or good story. But to pretty much say all that out in a video would probably take like 45 minutes. Pretty much my conclusion is, video games should be considered art and should be preserved. Because there's gonna be a day when the NES is gonna break down and there's no other way to repair it. There's gonna be a day where the last Xbox 360 is going to break down forever, and whatever physical media or downloaded stuff was on that Xbox is gone forever. And tell me, what happens if someone's born in the year 2100 and wants to play Red Dead Redemption 2? Well, he's probably gonna be shit out of luck, because maybe Red Dead Redemption 2 in the year 2100 is lost media. Maybe one day there won't be a way to emulate your games. And that person that was from the year 2100 is probably going to be like, well, I guess all I got is the YouTube videos that were made in 2019. And to me, that's fucking sad. Like, comment, subscribe, skiddly bobbity boop, I'm out.